Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm coming to you with my best and worst luxury purchases of 2020. And I have talked before on my channel that 2020 was a year of massive purchasing for me. I have spent way too much money and I intend to cut it way back in 2021. I am probably going to be doing a bit of a low buy year, but I did learn a lot of things along the way. It has been a very unusual year, and I think it definitely has taken its toll, and that's all I'm going to say about it. I'll probably do a New Year's resolution video to kind of share kind of where my head is at around luxury shopping and shopping in general, but yeah, I thought I'd show you some of the things that, or talk about some of the things that some of my worst purchases and some of my best purchases and the reasons behind it. So I'm going to start off with the worst because I feel like I like to end on a positive note. So I no longer have any of these items. I've actually sold them, and so I'll just pull up some pictures as I talk through them. The first of my worst luxury purchases was this Chanel Cosmetics pouch or cosmetics case. This is something I purchased pre-love off of Fashion File, and it was in very good condition. There was nothing wrong with this item. I just didn't get a lot of use out of it, and I realized after having it that I don't really like, as much as I like to change out my handbags, I don't like to change out like every single thing inside every single thing that goes in my bags. So I ended up selling that because I do already have, number one, my small, I think it's called small, it might be called the mini O case from Chanel, and that is sufficient for carrying just some essentials with me. And I also have my Louis Vuitton mini pochette that I use and love, and I don't really like to kind of have to switch everything out of that and into another pouch is basically what it comes down to. So that is my first worst luxury purchase. Not that it's a bad item, I think it's a great item, I just really didn't need it. And another item that I purchased that I didn't need and ended up selling was my Louis Vuitton Nice Mini. And many of you know I love and use my Nice BB to death, and it is like one of my best all-time Louis Vuitton purchases. So when the mini was released, I got really excited thinking I'm going to use it for my makeup, and when I travel I'll have one for my toiletries and one for my makeup, but it just became like too much stuff to take with me when I travel. So, oh yeah, I like to take a separate cosmetics pouch with me anyway, something I usually carry in my handbag, and I don't take that much makeup with me when I travel. So I ended up just recently actually selling off that piece, and no regrets because it is a beautiful item, and I was very happy to have both of them, but I just really didn't need both. The third luxury item that I would consider kind of a worst purchase was my Gucci Marmont Supermini bags. I had two of them that I purchased this year. The black one I purchased first, and then the off-white one. And the reason I consider these to be a worst purchase is just because I don't find myself using mini bags, and I should have learned my lesson in the past. I have had the Chanel Square Mini that I ended up selling because I felt like it was too small. I had this Chanel Walks that I had in my collection and sold for the same reason, but for some reason I thought to myself, well, I'm going to be going places where maybe all I want to take is like my cell phone and a little cash, and it is great for that, but I don't have enough of those occasions in my life to really justify it. And combined with all of that, I have recently just fallen completely out of love with the Gucci Marmont line in general. I actually recently also sold my Gucci Marmont, the last of my Gucci Marmont belts, and I don't really intend to purchase anything from that line going forward just because I don't know, sometimes you can't explain it, you just get sick of something and you fall out of love with it, and that is kind of how I have felt about those, and so I ended up selling them both, and no regrets about that. And the next items I want to talk about actually sort of straddle the line between best and worst purchases, because these are something I know I will get a lot of use out of in the future, but I just haven't been using yet. and that would be these guys. These are my Gucci Princetown loafers in the gorgeous brown that was so hard to find. So I'm thrilled that I have them, but just haven't yet worn them. And the off-white ones that I got for the spring and summertime and only wore once, but these are absolutely gorgeous. I know from my past experience with these, the others that I own in black and red, that I love them and have used them to death and definitely will be wearing them. But for the year of 2020, I really haven't gotten a lot of use out of them, and so it's sort of like one of those best purchases because I love them, but worse because I haven't worn them and I'm really hoping they don't like completely go out of style. And like the Gucci loafers, the other item that I went sort of over the top with this year were my Hermes Oran sandals. I love these sandals. They are so super comfortable. They have totally exceeded my expectations and they just suit me so perfectly because I am someone who likes to dress pretty casual and comfortably, but at the same time have like a nice pair of shoes that kind of elevate my outfit. So these brown ones are actually the ones that I wore the most, followed by the black ones, which I've only worn probably a handful of times. And then the ones that I only have worn one time would be the white ones. And I love all three of these, believe me. I will not be selling them. I intend to get lots and lots of years of wear out of them. But yeah, I'm thrilled that I have them, but didn't need to purchase them all at once because I have nowhere to wear them. So another one of those sort of best and worst at the same time purchases. Okay, and truly getting into best purchases, this year was definitely the year of the pre-loved and vintage handbags for me. And I've gotten quite a few bags in my collection, sold quite a few bags in my collection, and am really happy with where my sort of handbag, I think I have purse piece or whatever that is, with my handbag collection. I have one more bag that was on my wish list that I actually recently found, and so you will hopefully be seeing a reveal of that soon to come. But in the meantime, these are the bags that I have had on my wish list, and I'll explain why they were such great purchases for 2020. So the first one would have to be this beauty. This is my red pre-loved Chanel classic flap in the medium large size. I have always wanted a red classic flap and just couldn't decide on the color. I actually ordered a few pre-loved and they came, and one was like way too orange and the other one was way too dark, and this one was kind of the happy medium, perfect sort of deep red without being like a true burgundy color. So absolutely love this, and the reason why this I believe is such a great purchase for 2020 is that I found it, I'd been watching it online and it was listed at a price that I thought was, you know, maybe might come down. But then with all the price increases that happened this year with Chanel, it was still available at that price. And I decided to go ahead and purchase because I knew the prices were going to hit the pre-love market as well, or the price increases, I should say. And they did drastically. And so I got this still for a great deal before all the crazy increases happened. So yeah, definitely a best purchase, and I was really thrilled to find this. And similar to that, another bag that was on my wish list that I ended up pulling the trigger on this year was this beautiful Tweed bag from Chanel. This is another medium large classic flap that I had on my wish list, and I wasn't sure exactly what the print or pattern would be that I would find, but this one was on the market. It sat for a while and was still at the same price when I went back on to look at it, and I scooped it up. And I was so thrilled that I did, because I have seen this exact bag posted on several sites for like over $1,000 more than what I paid for it. So I'm thrilled that I got it when I did. And yeah, just thrilled to have this bag in my collection. And the last few best purchases I have to share are all vintage bags. You can see by the shelves behind me, I have quite a collection now of vintage and pre-loved handbags, and I have just decided that that is the way for me to go forward with a lot of luxury handbags because number one, I end up using them more because I'm not afraid of them, and number two, I feel like they add a lot more sort of character to my outfits, and I never knew that I was such a vintage bag person. Many of you know that I've recently acquired a lot of vintage Coach bags as well, but those I'm not going to include in this video. I'm going to start off with the two that I purchased from Louis Vuitton, and the first of which is this beautiful Alma PM. And if you've watched my channel for a while, you know that I originally had a very well-loved vintage Alma, and then I sold that and got a brand new Alma. And then I sold that because I missed this style of the Alma, and I really do love it. I feel like this is like the perfect Louis Vuitton, my favorite Louis Vuitton bag that they've ever made, and she was in excellent condition. I got her for a great price, and I just absolutely love her. Next best vintage purchase was this one. This is my beautiful Ellipse PM. I always forget the name of this bag, and this is a bag that it took some time to grow on me, to be honest. I didn't love this bag when I had just sort of seen it in pictures and on other people, but then one day, about 2 years ago, I would say, it was in the summertime, and my husband and I were at a conference in Asheville, North Carolina, and I had visited I want to say it was like a Belk store there, and there was a bunch of Louis Vuitton pre-loved bags that they were selling inside of the store, and I tried this one on, and it was like love at first sight. It had just such a great strap drop, such a great size, and the shape is just so unique, and the opening to this bag is so smooth and easy to get kind of in and out of. I just love everything about it, and I knew I was going to end up purchasing one. The one I had seen was actually not in such good condition as this one, but it was and it was like over $700, and I ended up finding this one for $300 on eBay. So I was super thrilled to add this to my collection, and she is an absolute beauty. So yeah, another one of my great vintage finds of 2020. And I saved the best for last. My best purchase of 2020 was the bag that I didn't know existed until recently, and when I finally found one in beautiful pre-loved condition, I had to go ahead and purchase her, and it is this one. This is my Chanel Kelly bag, and she is in black lambskin leather in the silver hardware. And this is the smaller size Kelly, which, like I said, I didn't know existed until I had seen. It was actually a picture of Victoria Beckham carrying, not this exact bag, it was a vintage smaller Kelly, but hers was slightly different style-wise. And then I started just sort of researching the bag, went down the rabbit hole, and ended up finding this one that is the one that I knew I wanted. Kept seeing it with gold hardware, really wanted it with silver hardware. So I held out and I waited, and finally the right one came along. Really in love with this bag, and she is just such a timeless classic handbag, and I just can't say enough about this bag. To me, this is like the find of the year. So my 2020 best purchase would have to be my vintage small Kelly bag. So those are all of my best and worst luxury purchases of 2020. I hope you enjoyed this video. As I mentioned, I have one more luxury purchase that is on its way to me. It's something that has been on my wish list for a very long time. I hopefully will have that here soon to show you, assuming all is well. It is a pre-loved handbag, and I'm really excited about it. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, thank you again, and I hope you are all doing well. Happy holidays, and I will see you soon in my next video.